Good morning. Well, it is morning when I'm recording this PowerPoint presentation. My name's Richard Moore, and I'd like to spend 10 minutes with you going through the basics of Productive General Practice Quick Start and what it can do for you. I'd like to talk briefly about what Productive General Practice Quick Start is, the benefits it can give you, the implications for you and your practice, how it does it, and your next steps. It's offered as part of the GP 5-year forward view, and you will see right in the middle of that slide, which I suspect is familiar to you from the national presentations, that Productive General Practice sits right in the heart of the releasing time. And that's very important because time is the unit in which we work. It is a short, simple hands-on support over a period of weeks. It is not an academic program. It is not something where the benefits accrue at some indefinite point in the future. It is immediate improvement. Our consultants come and work with you on the problems that you identify in your practice. And these skills that you learn, because we've learned them, because we've done them in more than 150 practice, we will transfer, and then that can give you knowledge and confidence how to attack future problems that happen in your practice. It's requested by facilitators and practices in that it's a derivative of a more complex program that you might have heard of known as Productive General Practice, which frankly was long-term and hard work. The pressures in practices are increasing and we don't have time for that now. I know this sounds almost too good to be true, but we have had many practices who have released had these benefits as in this slide. We release time by examining and making visible to you the processes in your practice where you are not productive, where time is being wasted. There is so much to do in modern general practice that you have no time to waste. Once we start to free up time, this gives you time, headspace to look further, and so we create a positive cycle. This is the opposite of being stuck on the hamster wheel, which is where we are at the moment. This gives you capability and confidence. This means that no longer do we just have to look at these emails that arrive on Friday afternoon and it's, oh, more forms to be filled in. But we have tools and techniques for moving forward quickly and efficiently through things. And you can do this time and time again. We will be with you for a very short period of time, some 3 months or so, but the learning will stay with you. Some of our biggest successes have actually been realized by practices after we've left. And that last line, small improvements can have significant impact. It might sound that we're dealing with things that are peripheral and are not making major changes. But there's nothing here, I suspect, although we have seen it, but it would be wrong of me to promise, there is nothing here that we will see within your practice that will get you home 45 minutes earlier. But there is a likelihood that we will find 45 things to change that will get you home 1 minute earlier. And of course, the time is nice, and of course, being less fatigued is nice, but the reduction in frustration and that feeling of time being wasted that goes with that is very difficult to describe. We have 8 modules, and more of this later, and we ask you to select 2, and we will work with you through that, through the program that you will, at the early parts of the program, will give you a deeper understanding of what's in these modules, so you can choose which ones are most likely to give you the benefit, the biggest benefit of time saved within your practice for the effort that you put in. This is not a seminar where you sit in hot stuffy rooms on a Friday afternoon and then go back to the surgeon and think, when the heck am I going to do this? This is real life. We come with you and work on the problems as identified by you in your practice. There's a little bit of work needed in between sessions. The more data you gather, the more information and the more analysis you do, the more powerful your changes and the bigger the benefits. We deliver this to a cohort of practices so that we can be cost effective in delivering knowledge to you about the program and about leadership and about change, but critically that you can share ideas and share improvement. It's quite cute to learn from your mistakes. It's even cuter to learn from someone else's. And I know in the modern health service that last line can be found, sounds almost too good to be true, but usually when we're in a practice and looking at the way things do, with knowing the vagaries of human beings, that usually there's a chuckle or a laugh at some point in the way that things have got done is so tangled that it's just amusing, and it's so refreshing to do them in new and cleaner and easier ways. These are the 8 modules that we offer, and we do not need to go into these today. We will go through these at both formal engagement events and through Group Learning Day 1. I present them to you now to say that with our experience, as I said earlier, Zytal's done 150 or so practices. Nationally, we've done about 700. There are problems that are common to practices, and so we, broadly speaking, have an idea of what your likely challenges are from our experience. So you bring the questions and we bring these lumpings of 8 rough answers. The way it's actually done is that we have group learning days, 2 before the start of our practice visits, where we talk about the program, we talk about leadership, we talk about change management, and the purpose of those is that forewarned is forearmed on the challenges that come. We then come to the practice and we have these 3 visits where we do 1 module and we get stuck in to your practice and you get stuck into your practice learning and alongside our consultants, and then we start to change things around, or you start to change things around, so you get the benefits and start to save time. We then have a pause on a group learning day again where we share learning, share protocols. Oh, that went well. Oh, can I have that? Oh no, I wouldn't do that, it was a disaster. And we also pause and think what went well, what wouldn't go well, so that we can be even slicker in getting the benefits from the second module. There's then another 3 practice visits going through the second module and a group learning day where once again we share successes, we swap ideas, and we generally have a wash and brush up on what went well and start to think a little bit about what next, the future. When I say Zytal's an organisational change company, we change organisations. Talking about Zytal ourselves, this is who we are. We're delivery partners for NHS England, so that we deliver this programme, the intellectual property of which is owned by NHS England. Having said that, the 2 directors at Zytal were members of the design team at the NHS Institute for Improvement and Innovation, so contributed to the production of a lot of these materials. We are very proud of the fact that as a group of individuals, we come from the private sector, from the public sector, from clinical practice, from managerial practice, and we think that gives us a breadth that you found practical and helpful. We are here to work for you. We are not CQC. We are here to support you and guide you. We are not do this or be stupid. But the only way to find out what it feels working with us is to work with us. We will tailor our support to meet your needs as much as you can, but this is an NHS England funded and directed and paid for programme, so sometimes they tell us what to do and we can be a bit less flexible, but we'll go into that in detail in the group learning days. What we need really is to understand at this stage is that there's a deal to be done. We will come into your practice and help you do good stuff. For that to happen, we need access to your staff for the 6 support visits and the 4 group-based learning sessions. Some of the practices who say, and it's about 5%, about 1 in 20 say, oh, this program isn't very good. And then you ask them, you find, oh no, I didn't go to the group learning days. Oh no, I wasn't able to attend. Oh no, I was on holiday. They often haven't actually done anything. So we have this schedule of visits which is set out by NHS England, and we will come in. It's short notice and it's hard work. Usually most NHS England initiatives are, but the good side of that is that the benefits come to you quickly. The more we get onto this and the quicker we get in with it, the faster the benefits accrue to you. There will be an amount of data collection. It's important that throughout this programme we discuss data and not argue about what people think, and that's a massive difference for many of the practices. And we'll ask for a bit of leadership and commitment internally, and again that may or may not be a new way of working to your practice. We would ask you to think collegiately, so we'd ask you to share your learning and progress, and perhaps if you felt like it, things that didn't go quite so well, so that colleagues may avoid those pitfalls. We'd ask you to share your impact data so that colleagues can get an idea on how effective this practice is, and if asked, some pre and post surveys so that correctly, as this taxpayer believes, Zytal can be performance managed. What we found working with the practices is those that come to us with a curiosity and an interest in seeing if things can be done better, that have individuals who feel that this should be happening and things should be happening and feel that they are in control of what they do, not others, and that are prepared to dedicate the time despite how busy you are at the moment, and ask people and generate a sub-team that will work on this with a positive attitude, and when necessary make measurements, collect data and communicate this. These are the practices that get the massive wins, and we have had massive wins. We have had practices that have made time savings up to the value of £100,000 or more, and the more you do, the more you benefit you'll get from this program. Life. If this is of interest, either you would have received some notification from your GP federation or primary care organisation, but this is a further benefit or a further interest to you, then please pop an email to our operations management at our office, and I hope that this presentation has been of value. Thank you very much for listening.